Roblox Jailbreak just updated, completely revamping the robbery system and making hyperchrome grinding way harder, also making server hoppings way harder, as in the past it was easy for people just to server hop and have a chance at getting hyperchromes, such how I got my yellow 4 and also how I got my green 5, both from luck. Now, how does this work and what is it? Well, it has completely changed from the old system and it actually makes hyperchrome grinding way easier for people. So basically, in a private server now, you only have 3 robberies open at a time, which is less effective if you think about it. While if you then look at a public server, there'll be 6 robberies to be open at the same time, which gives you a bigger opening chance for things to rob. Instead of having to go into a private server, you can go into a public server. And each robbery also has a time limit. So from 5 minutes to 0 minutes, and once the time limit ends, a different robbery will open, and then this will keep on going for every single robbery. Now, how is this related? Well, my friend Jgamer went into a public server, a private server, and many other things, and joined in multiple times to see which robbery he got most of the time, and here are the results which he got. So, for a big public server, I got JStore 30%, the bank 35%, museum 60%, tomb 35%, casino 35%, the train 40%, the power 45%, and the plane 10%. And this shows that a big public server is actually a lot effective than you think, and it has changed a lot. And now I'm also going to show you how it has an effect in a private server, because in a private server it takes 1 minute for a robbery to open, whereas in a public server the robberies open immediately, which gives you a more open option of what going to rob. So I will show you now for a private server what percentages there are. So for a private server, we start off with JStore, which is at 20%. Then we head off to bank, which we have at 65%, which is really high. Then we have museums at 40%. Then we have tomb at 35% again. Then we have casino at 15%, plane at 25%. Then we have power at 20%. And lastly, we have plane at 30%. Now, you can see the difference between a private server and a big public server. Well, the difference is that in a private server, a bank has a higher percentage chance than a big public server, because in a private server there aren't many cops, which is more difficult for you to rob bank, as you have to go to the oil rig first before robbing the bank. Whereas in a public server you can just kill a cop easily, get a keycard, and then do bank. And it's the same thing for tomb, because in a private server you need 2 people, and not people want to grind private servers, but in a public server there's like over 25-30 people, which makes it really. I'm gonna go over a small public server and tell you the percentages of them and the differences between a private server and a big public server. So we start off with JStore at 15%. Then we go to bank, which is at 80%, which is really high for bank. Then we go to museum, which is at 60%. Then we go to tomb, which is at 55%. Then we go to casino, which is at 10%. Then we have train, which is at 15%. Then we have power, which is at 45%. And then lastly, we have plane, which is at 15%. Now, if we compare the small public server to the big public server, we can see that in a small public server, the bank is way higher than the bank in a big public server, and the tomb is a bit lower than the tomb in a big public server. This could possibly mean maybe that it had a bigger chance, or maybe that a small public server has robberies that could maybe open slightly a bit faster than big public servers. But overall, a small public server and a big public server are overall the same, unless it really depends on what specific thing you're grinding. Because if you're grinding, let's say, train in a small public server, that is not effective. You want to instead grind train in a big public server where it is 40%, instead of having to do it in a small public server with 15%. Or if you want to, for example, grind bank, it'd be better to do it in a small public server than a big public server, because in a small one it is at 80%, while in a big one it is at 35%. You're probably wondering, what is the best server to hop for every store? Well, For JSTOR, it is a whopping 30% in a public server, whereas in a private server it is 20, and in a small public server it is 15. The bank, it is the most effective in a small public server, whereas in a big public server it is 35%, and whereas in a private server it is 65%. For museum, it is the most efficient in a big public server and also a small public server, as they have the same percentage, but where it is least effective is a private server where it's only at 40%. Next up, we have the tomb, where it's the most effective in a small public server at a whopping 55%, where in a big public server and a private server are both equal at 35%. Then we have casino, where it is the most effective in a big public server, where it is at 35%, where in a small public server and a private server it is only at 15%. Now, the train. The train is the best one in a big public server, where it is at 40%, while in a private server it's only at 25%, and where in a small public server it's only at 15%. Power plant is both good in a big public server and a small public server because they're both equal at 45%, where in a private server it is only at 20%. And lastly, plane is the most efficient in a private server, where it is at 30%, whereas in a small public server it's at 15%, and whereas in a big public server it is at 10%. But now, the mansion isn't as effective as you would think it is, since now they have dropped the mansion invites from having an infinitely big amount to only having 5. So in my opinion, I don't think the mansion would be that effective for hopping. But in the comments, guys, make sure to tell me if you guys disagree or agree with me if the mansion is useful or not. And the way that I hop is that on the Roblox browser, there is this extension called RoPro, which when you install it, there will be a button next to where you click play, which if you click it, it will automatically find a server for you every time, so you will not end up in the same server, and if your friends are online, you will also not end up in the same server, which then it is really helpful if you're trying to hop a public server, if you're trying to hop a certain robbery in a public server. Anyways, guys, that is it for this video. If you guys want to know how to grind a specific robbery, make sure you guys go watch this video.